I'm ready for you, sir, whenever you are ready.
How does a distinct approach to agriculture attempt to create a spiritual balance between humans, nature, and the cosmos? How are its practices relevant in agriculture today? Today I'd like to introduce you to biodynamic agriculture. We live in one of the great agricultural regions of the world, the Willamette Valley. How we treat the land around us impacts our lives in ways we never really think about. One growing approach to farming and land management is biodynamics. My name is Tim Mance. I'm currently enrolled in the Agricultural Sciences program at Chemeketa Community College, and my major is in vineyard management. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about how the biodynamic movement came about, what it means to farm biodynamically, and how biodynamics is relevant in agriculture today. So first I'd like to tell you about how the biodynamic movement came about. There are a series of events that set up the biodynamic movement. So, we need to go back to a time shortly after World War I, where the war and influenza nearly wiped out 2 generations of self-sufficient farmers, their animals, and their equipment. The next generation of European farmers began to realize that the new mechanized production-oriented approach to agriculture was destroying the vitality of their soil, their plants, and their livestock. By using synthetic fertilizers based off bomb-making technology and chemical herbicides and pesticides based off of nerve gas technology, farmers were able to increase yield and predictability. Alternatively, they decreased nutritional value and biodiversity. In 1861, Rudolf Steiner was born in an agricultural region of Austria, now part of Slovenia, that had remained largely unchanged since the Middle Ages. In 1924, a group of farmers approached Steiner to give a series of lectures on agriculture, since he was a scientist and philosopher. This series of lectures included 8 lectures and 5 discussions that went on to become the basis of the biodynamic movement. An article written by Hillmore and Moore called Rudolf Steiner, A Biographical Introduction for Farmers, originally published in the journal Biodynamics, November-December 1997 edition, and accessed on the Biodynamics website on October 30, 2019, Moore says, "The sheer productivity of Steiner's life is somewhat daunting. Over 6,000 lectures, dozens of books, and innovative approaches to education, the arts, medicine, and working with people with special needs. And if this were not enough, Steiner provided a methodology for spiritual development." Unfortunately, Steiner passed away shortly after giving his series of lectures on agriculture. Now that I've told you a little bit about how the biodynamic movement came about, I'd like to briefly explain what it means to farm biodynamically. This approach means that you treat your farm as its individual ecological system. According to the What is Biodynamics page on biodynamics.com, the official website for the Biodynamics Association, accessed on October 23, 2019, biodynamics is a holistic, ecological, and ethical approach to farming, gardening, food, and nutrition. What this means is that you treat your farm as a closed loop where everything you take out of the soil you put back in. This closed loop includes keeping people, plants, animals, forests, and fields aligned with a spiritual, holistic approach. Key elements include building soil integrity through crop rotation, animal integration, and composting. Biodynamic farms aim to rely solely on what comes from within the farm by using 9 specific preparations that are added back into the compost, the soil, or sprayed directly onto the plant itself. These 9 preparations are believed to help with everything from photosynthesis to the growth of beneficial soil microbial life. These practices and others are put into action based on cosmic and earthly rhythms according to the biodynamic calendar. The calendar categorizes optimal timing for sowing, transplanting, planting, cultivating, and harvesting. Now that I've told you a little bit about what it means to farm biodynamically, I'd like to take a moment and tell you why it's relevant in agriculture today. The biodynamic approach attempts to alleviate some of the issues in agriculture today and going forward. According to a paper called Impact of Population Growth and Population Ethics on Climate Change Mitigation Policy, written by a collection of researchers, published online October 30th, 2017, and accessed on the website of the National Center for Biotechnology Information on November 4th, 2019, the size of the human population in the near-term and distant future is a key determinant of climate policy. All else equal, a larger population entails more emissions and therefore more mitigation to achieve a given climate target. It also means more future people will be vulnerable to climate-related impacts. With the world's population projected to hit 10 billion around 2050, we're going to need to make more food or grow more food with less land available for agriculture. This also means that this food needs to be more nutritious to sustain a growing population. By putting everything that it takes out of the soil back into the soil, biodynamics attempts to mitigate the loss of important nutrients for future harvests. The majority of this nation's food comes from two areas: Central California, that's been fighting worsening drought and wildfire conditions, and the Midwest, which has also recently seen drought and flood events. In the time of climate change, this erratic weather pattern is becoming the new norm. In the 1930s, the Great Plains suffered through an intense drought called the Dust Bowl era. Due to a lack of significant rain and poor land management over decades, some areas lost up to 75% of their topsoil. By increasing carbon storage and water holding capacity and decreasing erosion, biodynamics attempts to mitigate the loss of our soil for future harvests. This approach attempts to alleviate or give a way to alleviate some of the pressures that future generations of farmers will face. So I told you a little bit about how the biodynamic movement came about, what it means to farm biodynamically, and how biodynamics is relevant today. So the next time you're at the grocery store, local farmers market, or even out to eat, I hope you take a moment to think about how a distinct approach to agriculture attempts to create a spiritual balance between humans, nature, and the cosmos, and how its practices are relevant today. Thank you.